Hello and welcome to Quintessence Journey. I hope all is well. And before I get into the video, first of all, just a reminder that I will be pausing the video on and off throughout the video because I just don't do editing, at least not as of right now. And also, in the past videos that I've posted up, I've noticed that I tend to tangle up my information. And the reason being is that um, I don't want to give out too much information. I want to give out bits and pieces of information just to start with. And then later on, I'll be talking about the same subjects on a deeper level. So today, we will be talking about the afterlife, past lives, reincarnation, and celestial contracts. And that last one, I don't know if it's a popular term or not, but I'll let you guys know what that is later on in this video. So, firstly, let's do past lives. Let's talk about past lives. And this topic will get a little tangled because in a way it has to do with time and time flow, but I won't be too specific about time and time flow. So, past lives. On this earth, there are many timelines, and with reincarnation, you leave one life and come to the next. A lot of people have the misconcept that time is linear. It is not linear. Time is always changing in a way, depending on the decisions that you make. When it comes to past lives, you could have hundreds, thousands of past lives and not know about them all. And the reason past lives exist, just like in your present life, you're always learning, getting wiser. You're learning from your lessons, and sometimes we don't learn. We just ignore them, which is a lesson on its own from what I see it as. But every time your spirit is reincarnated, notice I said spirit, not soul. Every time your spirit is reincarnated, it gathers up that knowledge that you gained in your past life and carries it on to your next life. And when this happens, you're not only carrying the wisdom that you learned, you're essentially becoming wiser through every reincarnation that you have. It's like, for example, I'm going to use video games as an example. The first level is your first lifetime. You gather up what you learned in that first level, you level up, you get experience, and then you move on to the next level, your next lifetime. And you use that previous knowledge, that previous experience, you gain new skills, and you pass that second level and move up. And that's what happens with lifetimes. You're always getting more experience, more wisdom, new skills, and when it comes to living your present life, uh, depending on the situation you are put, and I believe everything happens for a reason. No matter how bad the situation might seem to you, you are put there as a test from your previous lives. Everything that you've gathered beforehand, it's like you're being put to a new test, and it's up to you to use that knowledge, even though you don't know, you're not conscious that you have that knowledge. A lot of the times, that's how it is. You get put into this new test, and it's up to you if you want to use that knowledge or not. If you don't use it, if you keep on ignoring signs, keep on ignoring the lessons, like the lessons in this present life are kind of like a review test. Once that review test is done, and I should be a little more specific about what I mean by a review test. In your present life, a review test would be like going through hardships and being put in a situation that you have to adjust or adapt to, and learning how to get through that. And it's not always on your own. For some people, it's hard to ask help, and this is just an example. Um, so maybe that's their review lesson. They have to go ask for help. But sometimes our pride just gets in the way. And I wouldn't say you fail your review test. I would say that you lost a chance, depending on your situation, to analyze your own situation and take action, depending again on your situation. And if you lose that chance, that life during a video game, you can always start again, review your life decisions, and then it'd be up to you how your reaction is to that same life. We could play the victim, and we can make ourselves suffer. If you play the victim, your pride is in the way. I used to do this when I was younger. I would play the victim, tell myself that I was put on this earth by mistake, that I have epilepsy because I was cursed, and or being punished. I would tell myself that. But I've come to learn that I have seizures. It's just part of my life now. And I've actually learned through my seizures to be more empathetic to others. Because when I was younger, I would look at disabled people and I would feel bad for them. And in a way, feeling bad for a person is sending out an energy of pity. Not petty, pity. And when you're pity towards someone, it makes you feel bad for them, but you're not doing anything to better their situation or better yours. So when I stop feeling bad for myself, I stop feeling bad for others. We're put in this earth for a reason. Our spirits came here wanting to learn about the human experience. And the more our spirit learns, the more wisdom it carries. And that's how our past lives affect our present lives. And I'm gonna talk just a little bit more about past life by giving you a personal example that I went through. I've done past life regressions for myself and for others. Um, but the regression that sticks to me the most is one that I did back, I think this was back in 2016. Yeah, 2016. Um, in that time, the back of my neck was hurting so bad. And I remember feeling so bad that I just didn't want to be around people. I just didn't want to deal with people. I didn't even want to deal with myself. I was just laying in bed full of pain. And I remember it being in June, close to my birthday. And my brother, I think he had just moved out or was planning on moving out. Actually, this was back in 2017, I think. But um, I think I've talked about in a previous video how I watched Charmed. Maybe I didn't mention it, and maybe I thought I mentioned it. But anyway, Charmed 1998. Um, this show, I learned through watching this show, even though in a way it sexualizes women and it makes them feel like they need to have a man around to be powerful. Anyway, getting off topic. Um, I watched this show, and in one of the episodes, Phoebe, she is getting signals from her past life warning her that she is going to die because her sisters in a previous life, they were all cousins, and her cousins bound her and cursed her to die on that previous lifetime and every lifetime since then. So what she does a regression, and she learns about her sisters being her cousins and cursing her for a complete life, uh, for that. Wait, I kind of had a brain fart. Um, I was trying to say that they cursed her in that current lifetime, which was the 1920s, and every lifetime after uh, she was reincarnated. And the reason I mentioned this episode is back then when my neck was hurting, I thought about this episode and I said, you know what? I'm going to try this. I'm going to do a past life regression. And I did. And I learned that um, in one of my previous lives, well, before I mention that, at this time with my brother, I mentioned he had just moved out, and me and my brother had bad blood between us. We just couldn't get along. But in this past life regression, I found out that, one, I belong to a native tribe. It was either Inca or Mayan. It had to do with the southern part of Mexico and the Central America. Well, it had to do with Central America. But in this tribe, um, me and my brother, not the brother that I have now, just me and my brother in that lifetime, um, I we had bad blood because there were rumors that I had been sleeping with his wife, and he didn't want me near him or his family. And at one point, I remember looking through my past life's eyes, and I was doing things with his wife, and I'm dragged out. My brother comes into, I think it was some sort of cottage or hut, and he drags me out and pulls me to the center of the village, and the village surround me, and they condemn me. And I believe there was another crime that they accused me of. But while the tribe members were condemning me, uh, my brother just runs through the crowd, pushes them away. He has an axe on his hand, and he attacks me on the back of my neck. When I got out of that meditative state, um, I called my brother right away. And I'm like, brother, I don't want to be having this bad blood between us. There it shouldn't be this way. And it took a while. We talked and we talked, and it wasn't immediate. It wasn't right there and then that we made up. It took some healing process. It took time. We talked things out. We started being open with each other, and now we're totally cool. And I love you, brother, if you're watching this. And my point is that past lifetimes, they can carry a lot of knowledge, and we can make up for mistakes that we've done in the past, in our past lives. We could make them up by being better in our current lives. And when I did that regression session, I after I woke up or opened up my eyes from this meditative state that I was in, I could feel my neck kind of loosen up, and it wasn't as bad. The pain was no longer as bad. And by clearing up and acknowledging, taking accountability for a mistake that I've done, not just in my past life, but in my present one. At the time, my mistake was um, treating my brother poorly, for one, and not being just with him, not talking things out, and not being open about what we both felt. That was my mistake. I never had my doors open to him. Not literally, just emotionally and mentally. So I made up for a past life mistake and I bettered my situation with my brother in this lifetime. And that's what lifetimes are. They're complete lessons that we can learn from and better our situations now. For the most part, lifetimes are in our subconscious, or not our subconscious, our, our inner consciousness. Our inner consciousness is attached to our spirit. So, all of what I just mentioned about past lives, I'm just talking about it in an earthly level, but later on I'll talk about a little bit more on a deeper level. And moving on to um, Afterlife. What happens after you are done on this earth? We will not be talking about heaven and hell. That I will do on its own video. But I will be talking about it in another sense. Uh, when you are done in this lifetime, your soul, it becomes, and I talked about this a little bit on the previous video, your soul is extracted from your corporeal body and it is put into this storage system, which I call the conscious crypt. In that conscious crypt, when we are on Earth, we are able to access these conscious souls, this consciousness, because that's what we are. What gets extracted is our consciousness, and that is another reason why most of the time we can't remember our past lives, because our conscious soul gets extracted, put into storage, and it is protected by several filters. And apart from the soul being extracted, you also have your spirit. Your spirit gets extracted and it is put through this thing, this energy that is in charge of recycling our spirit. I'm not going to describe it this time, because I want to save that for another video. But I might bring it up here and there sometimes. But anyway, this energy is in charge of recycling our souls. The way it works, you hear about people talking about the light. They want you to go into the light. Well, what the light is, it works kind of like moths being attracted to bright sources. It just can't think of the word in English. It burns your sight in a way, like you don't want to look at it, but you want to get near it. And it kind of, in a way, dumbs you down, because what this light does, it fills your spirit with all these good feelings. And since your spirit is still on an earthly consciousness, it still remembers, and I'm using the word remember very loosely, your experience on Earth, what this light does. It fills you with memories of Earth, the best memories that you had on Earth. So your spirit wants to go to this light and relive that. And once it goes through the light, you go through this energy, and you're sucked up, and your spirit is recycled and put into another body. Not necessarily a human body. It could be an animal, the plant, it everything on this earth, in a way, has spirit. Even if you're a chair, chairs are fabricated. For the most part, wooden chairs, they come from, well, wood. Wood at one point belonged to a tree. So wooden chairs are fractured parts of the tree spirit. But yeah, that's how it works when you're reincarnated. You're put through this energy and put back down on Earth. And it happens whether you want it or not. The reason being is because of celestial contracts. Now, celestial contracts, they're not literal paper contracts. It's just it is a consensual agreement between energies. In other words, your spirit is allowing this to happen. Like, before it comes to Earth, before it says, hey, I want to have an earthly experience, that ride looks fun. There is an agreement between energies that are in charge of this plane of existence. And your spirit. So your spirit comes by and it looks at Earth like, oh, it looks like they're having fun. That looks cool. I want to learn what being human is like. So you have this consensual agreement, your celestial contract, and your celestial contract, there are two that I could think of. The first celestial contract is just letting your spirit know what the earthly experience is like. Your second celestial contract is when you're reincarnated, and it tells your spirit what type of life it's going to live. Like, it already knows everything that's going to happen in that lifetime. But once it's kind of like brainwashed in a way to have the full experience, because if you know everything that's already going to happen, well, you're not going to have a good time, or it won't be exciting, in other words. Even if you're having a terrible experience on Earth, there's still excitement and drama. And for some reason, that's what gets sold, it's drama. So it gets brainwashed. The consciousness of the spirit gets brainwashed in order for it to have the full experience. Now, within this experience, you have multiple choices. once you are here living on earth as an earthly being, there are infinite amount of choices that you could make, and that is what defines your time on earth, your destiny, what some people would call it. Um, and destiny is not a sure thing. It all depends on the choices that you make. And within those choices, um, there's something that I think is very cool, that if you're not happy with the way that your life is going, you're not happy what's going on around you, as a human being, you have the choice to opt out of that timeline, out of that part of your life, and jump into another one. This I call quantum jumping, and I've done it many times. Um, Most of the time it's been unintentional, but there's been a couple times that I've done it intentionally. And when I've done this, um, what usually happens is it doesn't, for me, my life hasn't changed dramatically. But when I start talking about my experiences, my past experiences with people, they look at me like, dude, that never happened. I'm like, yeah, it did. Like, I know I have memory issues, but I remember it clearly. And my memory works through feeling. It might be because I'm an empath. I'm not sure. Uh, but my memory works through feeling, and if I feel like that happened, that did happen. And when I talk to certain people, they remember it going a different way, and I'm just sitting there like, shit, what do I do? What do I say if they remember it a different way? Is it because in their mind they changed the outcome or how things started? And it took me a while to figure out what was going on. And I found out that I was quantum jumping unintentionally. And this affected not just one perspective of my life, it affected multiple perspectives of my life. Um, like the friends that I used to have, they remember different experiences from what I do. Like, I'm gonna share this. It's kind of personal, not just to me, but a friend. Um, and I won't be naming names, but I remember that one time I was worried about my friend. Um, yeah, I was worried about my friend, and they were in a bad situation with the relationship that they had, and we would hang out, talk it out, and one time they invited me to eat pho. It was the first time I've had pho, and we were close. We were like siblings, and when we were at the restaurant, they shared with me um, some of the pho that they had with their spoon. And yeah, I know it's not the most hygienic thing, but we didn't care. And a couple days later, I have blisters all over my mouth, and they burnt so bad. I went to the doctor. they said, you have herpes. I'm like, wait, hold on, how? I haven't been sexually active, like, at all. Um, and they said, don't know. You have to find out how you got it. The only thing that I could think of was my friend. And I go and I tell them, and they get so angry, like I'm completely attacking them. And I was just asking if it was a possibility for them to have herpes. Well, they get so angry and they cut me off. Um, but what happened after I learned that I was quantum jumping? Um, they talked to me. They sent me a message, and um, I asked them, like, is everything okay? Because this person, they used to just contact me when they were having a bad time, and they said, yeah, everything's cool. Um, how have you been? So I answered, I'm like, yeah, I'm okay, I'm cool. But it was kind of strange because of how we left things. And so I'm like, I had to ask. I was like, are you not angry at me anymore? And they said, no, why would I be angry? And I told them the whole situation that happened. They're like, no, that never happened. And I was shocked because I remember it clearly. I know it happened. I know I went to the clinic. I went and got checked multiple times just to be sure. And my dad was there with me. And um, I had to ask my dad just to be sure. And he said, no, you're making up things. That was just an allergic reaction. I was like, oh, wait, hold on, what? And I'm like, no, I remember it clearly. My dad was like, no, it was an allergic reaction. I'm like, I have the papers. And I tried to look for the papers that they gave me at the clinic. They had me use calamine lotion, and I couldn't find those papers at all. I know. Uh, when I have these type of experiences where I remember it completely differently from others, I feel crazy. I feel like I'm going crazy, even though I know it happened. And people might treat you like you're going crazy. That's crazy, huh? um, but I mean, this has very little to do with it. Um, I'm just gonna tell you guys what I did to cure herpes. Doctors tell you there's not a cure for herpes. I think lately they found a vaccine or something. I'm not completely sure. But back then, doctors would tell you there's not a cure. But I did some research, and um, I found this doctor in, I think it was South America. I think his name is Dr. Sabi, maybe. Um, I would have to look it up again just to be sure. But the point is, he focused his work on curing ailments through natural foods. And when I say ailments, I mean everything that you could think of. Herpes, HIV, cancer, epilepsy, diabetes, everything that you could think of. He treated his patients with this special diet. It's called the alkaline diet. I don't know if you've heard about it or not, but the alkaline diet, it persists of no acidic foods, and eating a lot of fruits and vegetables. When I say acidic foods, I mean like your soda, your hot Cheetos, your Doritos, your sugar cookies. Everything that's junk food is acidic. And when I did this diet back in 2016. And I did it for 3 months. I told my dad, I don't want to take my medicine no more. My medicine for my epilepsy. I told him, like, it's giving me so many side effects. I'm getting more sick than what it's trying to control my seizures. I need to try something new. And well, he said, all right, let's try this diet. I stopped my medication, and I was eating fruits and vegetables only. No soda, no sugar, nothing. I was only eating fruits and vegetables. And I think there were some eggs in there, but anyway, for 3 months I did this diet, and I was free of seizures. I wasn't taking my medications, and in that time, my seizures were very persistent and very constant. I would have them almost every day. But when I did this diet, I went back to my doctor and I told him I've been seizure free. He's like, oh, so the medicine's working for you. I'm like, no. I started an alkaline diet. And he's like, what? And I told him what it was. And he goes, no, that's impossible. I'm like, well, I haven't been taking my medication in 3 months. And he said, what? And I'm like, yeah. And at first it looked like he was angry, but then he's like, hey, if it works for you, it works for you. But during this time when I was in the alkaline diet, it just happened that was the time that I also had those sores. And within the first month of being on the alkaline diet, those sores disappeared. Because I remember the doctor saying that there wasn't any treatment, and that when you have high stress situations that it would flare up. And being me, I'm full of stress all the time, which is another reason why I have seizures. My seizures are stress triggered. They are emotionally stress triggered, physically and mental stress triggered. So I'm always stressed, even though I don't want to be, and I try to calm myself down. My mind's always thinking. So when I had those sores, they were flaring up all the time. And this is another reason why I don't think it was, why I know it wasn't an allergic reaction, because they were flaring up all the time. And it actually got pretty bad where it got to my face, and it was really gross. Like just the lower part, not everything. Below my lip, right here. And, well, my point is, during that time, I healed myself with the alkaline diet. And now that I talk about it with people who knew I was in the alkaline diet and what I was using it for, they only remember me using it for my epilepsy. And they don't remember me using it for herpes. But I'm gonna cut it off now. I need to learn how to do shorter videos and keep it interesting. But I will let you guys go. Hold on, before I let you go, I'm gonna check something. Okay, so we talked about celestial contracts a little bit. We talked about past lives, afterlife, and reincarnation. On the next segment, I'll be talking about heaven, hell, and reincarnation a little further, I think, maybe. Let me think about that. But for now, I'll let you guys go. You guys have a good day, good night, and I'll see you in the next video. Also, don't forget to subscribe, comment, ask me questions, and hit the bell notification button. Alright, see ya.